Hello YouTube. I am totally excited to have Geek to Freak Fitness and Lawn Care on my channel today. In this interview we're going to dive into his childhood, his online dating, and some tips for his lawn care business. Greg, I would really like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to make this video for me. I do appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you for having me on here, Brian. This is a very cool thing that you're doing here. It's never been done before, so big props for that. It's a great way to let the people know a little more about the behind the scenes, life of the average YouTube personality that they watch. And it also brings the community together, and anything that does that, I'm all supportive of.
Your support is much appreciated, Greg. Now I want to start with your childhood. What kind of athlete were you growing up?
Oh, starting with the freaky questions already, huh? Yeah, well, I was always a loner as a child. And so, I was born in '71, so throughout the '80s, I rode flatland BMX every day before it was even popular, before the movie Rad came out. So look that up and see how you go there. I rode it, just doing it. The whole invention of all the axle pegs, the rotor, all that. Flatland BMX was my life, and as it got popular, I became obsessed with it. And it continues to this day. I'm 43 now. I still ride flatland BMX. You'll see some on my channel this summer when I ride my bike again. I'm not going out in the cold, but I used to. So yeah, I went all around the country to competitions and shows, never entering them, just being kind of like a fly on the wall, watching, taking a couple pictures, maybe some old VHS camcorder thing of it, coming home and watching it over and over, being obsessed with it. And that would motivate me to continue to go on, because there wasn't this whole online thing like there is now. Now, as far as a team sport goes, I was obsessed with hockey at the same time. So my entire life I was obsessed with hockey. And that's because my older brother was way into hockey, and it rubbed off on me, and he used to take me to Blues games. And I'd get to see, I got to see some of the classic stuff. And it never went away. Actually, my whole family, my father, my brother, and I, and my nephew, we went ahead and went on hockey road trips around the U.S. and Canada. Now, keep in mind, my father didn't get to go to all of them because, he was holding down jobs. What am I doing? I'm cutting grass all summer and going on hockey road trips all winter. So that was my life, hockey. I would go and I just go everywhere and do everything, but I spent all my money. All right. You go, what'd you do with all this money you made? I spent it all on hockey memorabilia. Maybe someday I will show you my collection of hockey sticks, jerseys, helmets, pants, socks. Yeah, oh yeah, socks too. The whole deal. I spent all my money on that. And I still got it stashed. But somewhere along the line, I wanted to play hockey. I didn't know how to ice skate. So here I am, in my early 20s, early 90s, early 20s. That's where I was at. And I decided to ice skate and learn how to play hockey. So I signed up for an adult learn to play. I'm drooling just thinking about it. And I learned to play for adults hockey. Well, first thing I do is teach you how to skate. And they had to teach us how to skate. And that was a problem, right? Stopping and all that, right? So I went through the program. After a couple of years, I actually got good enough that I could join like a beer league, like a men's B league or a C league, I guess. And then I got obsessed. So I ended up playing not just a beer league and not just that adult beginner league, but I joined all kinds of leagues, and it lasted the entire 90s. In the year 2000, I was at my peak of that. I had become so obsessed with hockey that I played on 3 summer teams while I cut grass. I'd get done cutting grass, go right in all stinky, change into my stuff at Brentwood Ice Rink and play a game. It was crazy. I played on 5 teams, 3 in the summer and 5 teams in the winter of 2000. That was my blow off top. I couldn't take it anymore. It all came crashing down. Reality set in. I couldn't keep up. I knew I had a problem then. I played Sunday night at Fairview Heights, Illinois, Monday night, my own team, which I started at East Alton for the men's league, the A-League. Oh yeah, I moved up. And then I played 3 nights in a row at Brentwood. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Friday, Saturday were like B. Thursday night was like ex-NHL players and stuff. And I got creamed a few times, got broken collarbone, got my nose broke a few times, you can tell right there. I was obsessed with it. Went on tournaments to Vancouver, Toronto like 6 times, all kinds of like Chicago and Vegas tournaments. Yeah, I actually became so obsessed with hockey that I started playing around the world. No, but I wasn't no superstar, but I was a goal scorer. Left wing, I scored goals, I was fast. I had long hair. My number was 68 for Yager. That's right, Jaromir Yager was my idol. That's how I played. Uh-oh, about Yager. Who is that boy? Someone's looking in my door. Pooper's gonna get him. Oh yeah. There you go. That's my story with sports. Hockey, flatline BMX, and I still love both, and I'm still into both.
Now that's some footage I want to see. Geek to Freak, one-on-one with the goalie, scoring a goal. Or how about getting checked into the glass by some ex-NHL players? That I want to see. So Greg, do you have any plans to expand your business, or do you just like it the way it is?
My business is pretty much in a holding pattern right now, just for the fact that I am a single father raising my 2 girls. They're 4 and 6 right now, so it takes a lot of my time and energy to maintain our life. Take them to school, get my work done, pick them up, finish some leftover work, get everything done. I don't have time to add in too many more yards. All I can do is just sort of try and maybe drop 1 or 2 and replace them with a few better ones. And, if the opportunity presents itself for something, really cool to slip in there, I will do that, but I'm not going to change it up. I'm not trying to expand or add an employee or anything right now. Although at some point in my future, I will have to transition from owner operator to the foreman, right? I'll be the boss man.
It's hard. It's hard raising a family these days, and you doing it on your own and running a lawn care business and everything that you got going on. Much props to you, Greg. So Greg, where is your dream vacation spot?
Just like everybody, well, most everybody, I've always dreamed of going to one of those white sand beaches, like the little cove, and you're out in it, and you could walk out in the water and see the fish down there, and stick your head under and look around. It'd be cool, right? I'd always wanted to do that. I don't know if I'm ever going to get enough money because I'm a go-getter, but not a super go-getter. I'm not trying to be a millionaire, so it's that I'm going to, I could probably make it there for a vacation, but I really want to live in one of those places. Actually, I really want to live on an island full of just half-naked hot chicks that I'm the only guy. They outnumber me 500 to 1. Can you think about that for a second? That would be pretty fun.
You're right. That would be a lot of fun, and that's all I'm going to say about that before I get myself in trouble. One of my favorite questions is I ask everybody why they started a YouTube channel. And mostly everybody will say because of Geek to Freak Fitness. But why did you start a YouTube channel, Greg?
I've heard that a few times now, and every time I have been told that, it takes me by surprise, I'm like, I can't believe that I actually had a positive influence on someone to the fact that they would actually start a YouTube channel. Because I do believe that YouTube is a great thing for a person. It will help you, first of all, you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to learn to speak, and you're talking to you don't know who. And then you're going to learn to accept criticisms. And even if you're not asking for criticism, you're going to get it. And that will build you as a person. And you will also find that there are some very cool people in here, very nice people, and you will form your own little community, your group of friends, and so it will actually strengthen you as a person by doing YouTube. That is exactly how I started YouTube. I was obsessed with getting my teeth fixed, my dental work, and I didn't know what to do. I was still having doubts, and through YouTube I watched these other adults have their braces journeys go play out right there on YouTube. They inspired me to go out and get my braces, take on the payments, get it done. And then I came back and I had befriended them by talking to them, and they were rooting me on. And and I would send them my pictures. I got them on, look at me, and they're like, oh my gosh, And so we are still friends to this day, a lot of those original vloggers, and that's how my channel started. They told me to start putting out videos, of you on your journey, and I did. This was all on another channel, my old channel, and random people came on and trashed me, gave me their criticisms, and I got so shook up I went away. I took them all down, and then later on I found out I was addicted to YouTube, so I came back on with the fitness videos, and I was trying to work out, and I didn't really mention my braces too much. I tried to still avoid it so that I wouldn't get that criticism. But then from there, it turned into self-therapy. I wanted to learn how to speak better, because I'd watch my first videos and I sounded horrible. I was all scared, nervous, and so that's the self-therapy part. I learned how to be more of a public speaker, more outgoing, by speaking into the camera and letting people just go away with it. Over hundreds of videos, it became more second nature, and I lost the nervousness, and that it taught me how to public speak. So yeah, if they think that I got someone else to get on there, it's going to help them in more ways than they even realize. It's going to give you confidence, and it is definitely a form of self-therapy.
I know you've inspired a lot of people on YouTube, Greg, including myself. And so for that, I thank you. I think I can speak for everybody when I say we're all glad you decided to share your videos on YouTube. When you started putting your mowing videos on your channel, did you have any idea that people would actually watch a guy cut grass?
Well, at one point on my old channel, it was a mixed match of so many things. I was just speaking about whatever was in the news so that I could be more outgoing and get better at public speaking into the YouTube camera. And I said, forget that channel, I'm closing it all the way down. So I just deleted all the stuff. And I moved over and started this channel, Geek to Freak Fitness, because I was way in the fitness scene right then. So I started doing the workout videos, continuing vlogging about stuff. I try to keep it more relevant to fitness or whatever. And for some reason, which I believe 405 Tuners found my channel first. And it might have been because we both commented on some other fitness guy's channel, because he does watch a lot of fitness channels that I do. And he came over and looked at one of my videos, and it happened to be one where I was by my truck and I had my lawnmower, out there. And so he was, hit me up and said, like, hey, what's going on? Do you have a lawn service? And I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So we became kind of friends, and then he brought in Exterminator. So those two were watching my workout videos and talking to me. And they're like, when are you going to put out a lawn care video? And I'm like, who watches that stuff? Why would I do that, They're like, no, man, you got to do it. So I fought it off for a while, and then I said, okay, I'll do one. And I did that, a day in the life of Geek to Freak Lawn Care. And then, boom, next thing I know, every single day, somebody would write, subscribe, want more of these videos, and they'd send me messages. So I didn't do it. I was like, I'm not going to make any more lawn care videos, And then every day, it kept going and going for months. Finally, the next season, I was like, I think I got like 400 of these people hanging around waiting for part 2. I better make them a video, at least keep them happy. So I did, and then boom, there come another wave of people. So no, I had no idea that the lawn freaks would take over, come in and start fighting with all my fitness freaks and braces freaks, and all of a sudden just take over. And what's crazy about this is some of my fitness people have been watching the lawn care videos, and now they're starting lawn services, or they're just fascinated by it. And they're going out and watching your channels too. I know these people were watching me work out back in the day, and now they're watching your lawn care channels. They're into it too. Pretty freaky how it goes. I never would have expected it. Not in a million years.
Well, I'm certainly glad you did, Greg, and I know I'm not the only one. Well, I've seen a couple of your videos, Greg, where you've used online dating. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I did the online dating thing, and it was pretty fun for a while until I ran into the crazies. And then I said, hey, I must be on the wrong site. So I decided I need to try something a little more high class than Craigslist. When I get on them, you just get a higher class of crazy, that's all. Crazy with money, maybe. Crazy with a job. They're not crazy enough that they can't hold down a job, but they're still crazy. So do I still mess with that? I would be lying if I said no. because I am a man. And I do think from time to time, like, hey, I wonder what's going on that site. I still have my accounts. So I pop up and reactivate my little profile and see what happens. A couple messages that come in, and I'll turn it off, and I'll just reply and talk to them. And it usually goes back and forth with phone calls and texts, and I go, I'm not even going to go on a date. Been there, done that. I can sense the abnormalities. Plus, to be honest, I've had a lot of bad luck on there. It seems like they want to be taken care of to the point where they have like a lot of problems or something. I don't know. They seem normal. They got jobs and money, but then all of a sudden, it's like they're my third kid. I don't need a third kid. I got Pooper here. He's like a third kid sometimes. He sees a cat, he takes off down the street. I gotta go chase my dog. I got a kid running that way, and I got a kid climbing up over here. I don't need no crazy chick. But I will from time to time go back on Craigslist, going down to casual encounter things, say, hey, what's happening today? I'll put my picture up there because I'm not scared. What's the worst someone's going to say? They're going to say, hey, I seen you on Craigslist. And I'll say, yeah, looking for a chick. Is there anything wrong with that? And they say, no, man, I guess not, really. Like, yeah, exactly. Then they're like, hey, did you get one? I'm like, oh, yeah, I got one. Don't be scared. Just put your picture out there and a little profile and say, hello, world, here I am. If you like me, good. If not, goodbye. Give it a try. Oh, you'll get a couple responses.
Well, after watching that clip, I decided to go to Craigslist and check it out myself. Look at what I found. When you agreed to do this video with me, Greg, I went back to your channel and I looked at some of your older videos, and I came across one where you were sitting in a park and you're talking about open heart surgery that you had. And that video it's amazing. You know, for anybody who hasn't watched that video, you need to go watch it. But at any time during your health struggles, did you think you wasn't going to make it?
Yeah, my heart surgeries were a defining moment and a life-changing moment for me. I was 19 and I spent months and months in the hospital, and I mean I had my birthday in there, and I was born June 12th, so I went in the winter and I got out in the winter. So I went in like before spring hit and got out right when winter was getting ready to hit again. Then I spent a whole nother year recovering. So I didn't get to cut grass. So the only 2 years of my life I didn't get to cut grass was from 19 to 20, but my father kept my 12 best yards going, maybe 15 or something, who knows what he kept, but he kept a good core of my group going while he held down his job and still managed to be at the hospital with me, and my mother was there all the time with me. And it was bad. It was really bad. I was born with the problem, didn't know it. I was working overnights at a Taco Bell, right? So I was doing the fast food and then doing lawn care too. And when I got sick, and I went in there, and they had to correct the problem that I was born with. And when they gave me my open heart surgery, I got staph infection, and it was bad. I mean, it was staph infection of the heart sac is where it was at, and there wasn't any medicine at the time that could get rid of it, so they actually had to reopen me up. That's why I have such a huge scar. So if anybody knows about heart surgeries, you know, they have to break your ribs and sternum, saw it back open, and go in. They had to wash out my heart sac. Like literally take my heart out and wash it all out. And then I was on heavy duty antibiotics, and they were trying to keep it down, but it kept wanting to flare back up. They couldn't find the amount or the type of antibiotic to get rid of it because they didn't have one invented, I guess, at the time. And my body whittled all the way down to where I had bed sores, and I was a skeleton. And eventually they got it. They'd started medicine on me, and it would start to clear it up, and then it would start to regrow again. And it kept going and going, and I was actually in a coma, tube down my throat. skin and bones for a long time, and they thought it was a goner. And I remember when I first started getting back with it, and the doctor talking to me, and he was saying, hey, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You hang in there. We got a medicine. It's going away. And they'd have to sit me up and drain my lungs all the time, and this black stuff would come out like big glass, like quart things. And I knew I was in bad shape because also I could see my body, and I had tube down my throat, and I could see I was like nothing like when I came in. I was like, oh my. By the time I was aware of what was happening, I seen the damage already. I'm like, I am in bad shape. And I was in there for months, and all I wanted to do was just live. So when I got out of there, I've had this same outlook on my life where I try and let things go, and I don't get so shook up. It probably has held me back too, you know, from being a real go-getter, because when it comes down to it, I just want to be happy. So yeah, I just want to be happy. I want to make enough money to be happy and do things and not be stressed out. And I try everything I can to not get stressed out. But you know, hey, life happens. So yeah, that was one of the defining moments in my life, and that's kind of how my personality stuck with me from that moment. I just want to live.
You know, from somebody who's never had a surgery before in their life like me, I have no idea. I can't even imagine what it's like going through that. You know, sitting in a hospital bed for months and months and months, and that's just horrible. And I'm so glad you pulled out of that, and I know you're a stronger person now for going through that. All right, Greg, last question. If you can give a new business owner one tip, what would it be?
One tip. It's not going to be just one tip to give the new guys. It's going to be one thought process. It's something that I didn't have the privilege of knowing. When I started doing this with my father, it was just sort of in its infancy in my area. There wasn't, in the 70s, there was no such thing as a lawn care company that made money and survived off of it. There were handymen that, well, they'd cut your grass for you too. Throughout the 80s, towards the end of the 80s, you started seeing actual lawn services. And then in the 90s is when you started seeing the trailers with the trimmer racks and the landscaping baskets, and you started hearing the stories of guys who were millionaires because they had all these crews and they were putting in, you know, landscaping too. Before that, the landscapers were just some big construction company would come in and plant your bushes and set all that stuff up. But as far as a lawn care guy goes, that had like trucks and equipment and employees and making money, that was unheard of. So the tip would be, you know it can be done. I stumbled into it. I didn't think that I'd be 43 years old and cutting grass for a living. I didn't think it was even a possibility. That didn't happen until I was like 38 before I realized that, no, I might as well just do this. You know, I like it, it makes me happy, and I can make just as much money. So you're starting out knowing it's a possibility. You don't have to just do trial and error on everything. You know that there is an actual future in it. You can be self-sustaining, you can provide, and the growth is unlimited. It all depends on you, what your attitude is, and if you want to continue to grow, or if you hit a level and you get complacent. It's all up to you. I didn't know that. I had no idea that lawn care would be providing for a roof over my head, my kids, paying for everything for them, my vehicles, my dog, right, my clothes, food, everything. I had no idea, but you do. You've seen thousands of people on here, but there are 1 million of us out there doing this. And we're living, and you can too. You just have to make them first steps. And it just grows like anything else. And it doesn't, if you work really hard at it, it doesn't take that long before you can make enough that would be more than the average Joe working for $12 an hour in some little warehouse driving a forklift around. Because in my area, that's all they're offering people starting out. You can start out and do lawn care and make more than that. And if you work at it, you can have a family and provide for them too.
That's a great tip, Greg. You know, it took me a long time to figure out that you don't have to be the biggest company in town to make a good living doing lawn care. Greg, I want to thank you once again for coming on my channel and doing this interview with me. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Well, thank you, Brian, not just for having me on here, but for actually putting it together. This gives a lot of channels a chance to let their behind the scenes, be known to a wider variety of people, and the viewers get to see, a more diverse style of content, to where they get to know different walks of life, people that are doing it in different circumstances with different degrees of success, and they're trying it in different ways, from the cruise to the solo guy. And I mean, it's a really good thing for everyone. I hope that when my subscribers come over here, they don't just watch my interview, they go ahead and go through the other ones and see how these other people are, and it will spread and just build the community stronger, because in the end, everybody will win if that happens. The YouTube lawn care community is pretty supportive of each other. We're all different, but we're all the same. We're all still cutting grass, okay? Some of us might have 5 crews, some of us might be solo, different equipment, different styles, techniques, different areas of the country, right? Different prices, the whole deal. We all try and make an effort to get along with each other and support each other, which is what's happening right here. And so I hope that it continues with all the viewers, and they get to pick and choose from each person and incorporate it into their life to make themselves, happier, healthier, and financially, prosper because of it. Because a lot of people are looking for a way to make money in this economy, in this world right now, and they're studying these videos, looking for tips and techniques. And the wider variety they have, the more information that's out there that people are willing to share, the better off everyone will be in the end. So, thanks a lot to not just you, Brian, but everybody watching.
Now I want to take a second and I want all the viewers to think about something real quick. What would your life be like if Geek to Freak Fitness never made a lawn care video? Let's think about that for a second. I thought about that while I was making this video, and one thought I had was, I wouldn't be on YouTube. I wouldn't be putting my lawn care stuff out there, and I wouldn't be learning so much from all these other YouTube channels, and I wouldn't be a part of this great lawn care community that we have here on YouTube. So with that said, Greg, I sincerely thank you, man, and I wish you well in all your endeavors. The reason why I make videos, guys, is because I believe everybody can prosper in this business. And I believe that together we can share our information and we can build our business together, one stripe at a time.